In this video, we're going to be reviewing Jack Carr's newest thriller book, Red Sky Mourning. So if you're a consistent viewer of this channel, you'd probably be thinking, didn't you start reading this book when Trump got shot? And that is true, I did. I started reading this book then. I got like 80-something pages into it when I was in the hospital with my pregnant wife. And I just finished it a couple weeks ago. I read the book, I listened to the audiobook, and in this video I'm going to be giving you some criteria on the type of people who will enjoy this book. I'm going to give you an in-depth review of the book and more about this. But yeah, I didn't get to read the whole thing until a couple weeks ago. I slowly worked my way through it because I've been working on bigger projects recently. I've been working on bigger, like 30, 40-minute videos about bigger subjects, like the 9/11 conspiracy video that I made. I also made the Watergate video, which were two very huge projects that took a lot of time out of my life. So I finally got around to finishing this book. I got my final thoughts on it. Alright, so first, this book is the book of the year. It's the best book that has been made this year. I don't care. It's not even close. And this book just killed it. It's an amazing book. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but this is the first year where I've been like, yep, Jack Carr made a better book than Mark Greaney. I'm usually a Mark Greaney guy. I love the Gray Man series. Big fan of the Gray Man series. I love the attention to detail Mark Greaney puts in his books. But this time, this is the first time I'll ever say this, and he did better than Mark Greaney this year, I gotta say. But no, this is a phenomenal book. This is easily probably the best in the series by far. Maybe Savage Son. This is the 7th book in his Terminal List series, the Terminal List James Reese series. And it's really good. It has a lot of references to James Bond. Since it's the 7th book in the series, Jack Carr put more James Bond references in the book, from like the gun he uses, like the PPK, to like some of the alcohol he orders, to one of the torture scenes in itself was a very James Bond-esque torture scene. And like the tuxedo he wears, like I don't think the watch he wears is anything to do with James Bond, but like the casino part, all that, it's very James Bond-esque, and you can tell that Jack Carr takes a lot of inspiration from the Ian Fleming James Bond books. For crying out loud, the main character's name is James Reese, so James Bond, James Reese, same first name. But no, there's a lot of references to James Bond in this book. This is the most violent book in the series. It's not the most action-packed book in this Terminal List series, but it is the most violent. This is James Reese at his most violent. It's very understandable why he's so violent in this book, seeing as what the plot is, which I won't get into it. I'm not going to get into spoilers for this. This is just a spoiler-free review. So I'm going to try to stay out of spoiler territory. I might mention a couple things, but I'm not going to spoil anything major. Another thing I like about this book is that you don't have to read any of the previous James Reese books before you read this one. You could just hop in, read in this one. Jack Carr did a great job explaining things that happened in the past, and he does a great job at like getting you to know, like, oh, okay, this must be what that is. I'm not going to spoil anything, but you kind of like it gets you up to speed pretty quickly. You don't really need to read the other ones to do that, which is what got me excited for reading this book in the first place, because I haven't read many of the Terminal List book series. This one's cool because you don't have to read any of the previous ones. I'm not sure if all of his books are like that, but this one specifically, you don't have to read any of the previous ones to read this one. Does a great job catching up to speed. I didn't feel lost at all reading this book at all. It wasn't like, oh, I don't understand what's going on here. It's pretty easy to catch on to things. This isn't his most action-packed book, but it is his most violent book. Some of the violence in this book is very cringeworthy. And in the way that Jack Carr explains the violence is super cringeworthy too. This is the most violent Terminal List book by far, according to what I've read online. This is James Reese at his most violent, which is, like I said, understandable for, if you read the book, it's understandable why he's so violent and aggressive in this one. But yeah, time to get into my final review of this and my final thoughts on this book. So, Number one, age rating. I will rate this like 16 and up. I'll give it. Not only to understand the political aspect of the book, because it's a very political book. There's a lot of like politics behind the action scenes. But just 16 and up, not only because of the violence, but the political stuff behind the scenes, and it's a lot of dialogue. Like I said, it's not the most action-packed book in the James Reese series. There's a lot of talking. It's enjoyable dialogue, but there's a lot of dialogue. But yeah, 16 and up review. How likely you should buy this book? It depends. If you're an action fan, it's a very good read. If you've read the Jack Carr books before, you're going to like it. You should definitely pick it up if you're into that. And mostly I'm going to go through who this book is for. So this book is for people who, A, like politics. If you don't like politics, then you're not going to really like this book because it's a very political book. B, you have to like action. That's the second criteria you have to read. If you're not a big action fan, you're not going to really like this book. And C, if you're into technology and firearms technology, stuff like that, very good read because Jack Carr is very smart when it comes to guns and firearm technology. He's a Navy SEAL himself. Or he was a Navy SEAL himself. So he goes deep into detail with the gun stuff in this book. So yeah, my final thoughts on this book. It's a really good book. I recommend you read it if you meet the criteria. You like technology, firearms, stuff like that. If you like action and you like politics, this book would be perfect for you. Definitely give it a read. It's 516 pages. It's not too big for my standards, at least. So yeah, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Please leave a comment, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.